The point here is there are two aspects of Act East. One is maritime. You connect to Southeast Asia through the maritime route. You have a long coastline and which focuses on the east of Asia, so you do that. The other is, and which we are talking about now, is connecting to the tiger economies of Southeast Asia through the land route and situating a backward, underdeveloped region like Northeast at the heart of India's engagement with Southeast Asia, which will have automatic spillover effects in terms of growth and development and infrastructure building in the Northeast. So that was the whole idea. Now Modi ji came and he wanted to give it a push. There are two factors here, and I'm very happy that General Sibaj brought out the Myanmar angle. When you connect to Southeast Asia through land, you have to go through Myanmar. You can't change geography, sir. And you have to go through the Northeast. Now, if in the Northeast, and especially Manipur, whose eastern gates have to open to connect to the Southeast Asia, if Manipur is disturbed the way it is now, how do you run a regional connectivity project through a state which is so horribly disturbed and disrupted, where roads will be blocked, for hours and days and weeks together? Also, if you have a neighbor like Myanmar, which is so horribly disturbed now, it is degenerating into civil war. And General Sivach is absolutely right that in the Sagaing region particularly, you have daily fighting between the PDF forces, lower down with the Chin insurgents, further lower down the Arakan army with the Tamada or the Burmese military. And which is why the Burmese drug lords have turned to Manipur. Earlier, they turned to Manipur to transport their drugs through Manipur into the Indian market. Now they're turning to Manipur, Loshedian, Jangi Min, and Wei brothers. These three cartels, they are turning to Manipur, they're turning to Ibocha cartel, not just to transport their processed drugs, but because they can't access their own poppy fields due to the fighting in Myanmar, they are trying to encourage farmers in Manipur to grow poppy so that they can move their processing factories here in Manipur. Very dangerous future prospect. So, if you keep all this in mind, you will see that unless you resolve the internal problems, you solve the problem with the Nagas. 25 years you are negotiating with them and still no act. Almost 8 years that you signed a framework agreement and no progress. You have to settle this whole thing with the Nagas. They're the mother of insurgency in Northeast. You have to sort out this Methi Kuki and Methi Aga and all these other problems. If you have to operationalize the Act East through land, you can't just bring something from Bombay and transport it through, treat Northeast as a transport corridor. You have to create a manufacturing base here, like the Chinese have done in Yunnan. Huge manufacturing base, and then sending those stuff out into other parts of Southeast Asia and also South Asia, as and when possible. You have to create a manufacturing base in the Northeast and not just treat it as a transport corridor, because then it will have no spillover benefits to the local economy. Only our northeastern brothers will see trucks passing by, big container trucks. So that's not the idea. The idea is, if you have to turn Northeast into a developed zone and you have to use your foreign policy outreach, neighborhood outreach for that purpose, the first thing you need is internal stability. And the Indian Army is a fantastic organization, but it's not their job to bring internal stability. They can handle law and order in aid to civil authorities up to a point of time. This is a political problem, has to be solved politically. Where is the political dialogue?
Okay,
गश्त लगाने से एरिया डोमिनेशन से
true.
लॉ एंड ऑर्डर आप कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, पर जब तक ये पॉलिटिकल प्रॉब्लम कंट्रोल नहीं होता है, to turn this area into the spearhead or the jumping board of your lookist policy or actist policy is a far-fetched idea. Cliche is very good. There are some people terrific with sloganeering, coming up with very catchy phrases, including some of our great leaders. उससे काम नहीं होता है.
True, true.
You have to look at the situation, and I am suggesting an M2M kind of a problem. You have to tackle the problem in Manipur through internal dialogue and everything else that I've said. You have to also take a serious role, play a serious role in peacemaking in Myanmar. Why can't you send a Myanmar peace mission? Oh, we are supporting the ASEAN, 5-point consensus. What do you mean by supporting the ASEAN? You think you're a regional power and you become a regional power by propagating wait and watch? You have to play a role. You are the land of Gandhi. Send a Gandhi peace mission. Put somebody from Manipur like R.K. Ranjan Singh. Put
Okay.
Zoram Thanga. Put one of our retired generals who know the very area very well. Send one or two other Buddhist monks. Chalinda Bhante, who is very popular in Myanmar and rest of Southeast Asia Buddhist areas because he's the head of the Mahabodhi temple and he hails from Assam. And one or two other monks, Burmese,
Yes.
Vietnamese monk, like Dr. Lam. क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग नहीं है साहब. वो पर्ची लिखते हैं यहां वहां से मार के. हमारा पॉलिसी पेपर भी हम देखते हैं ना, ये यहां वहां से मार के फलाना सेट. व्हाट हैव यू सेड? हाँ,
No, I
our
agree. I agree with you, Dada. There is a lack of.
इंटेलिजेंसिया इज आल्सो वो यार वो कट एंड पेस्ट वाला इंटेलिजेंसिया.
Okay.
Selig
Okay.
Harrison said, Falana said, what have you said?